Tell me a little bit about yourself and about your family.
So I have two daughters, so 18 and 6, and then my 18-year-old has her son Leo, so I'm a grandparent as well. So that means that life can be really busy with the three of us and the three kids and myself. Yeah, I work a full-time job. I also run a side business.
So tell me about the place that you were in before Inspired Mumma, or when you reached out.
Oh gosh, I was probably quite lost in terms of my own confidence and self-worth. I'd been doing a little bit of work, sort of trying to get to the right place, trying to do lots of, personal development and that sort of stuff, and just unpacking, my life and things that have occurred and sort of how that's all played a part. But I was just in that constant yo-yo dieting space where I was just trying to find the quick fix. Then I would sort of go through stages where I would be really, really strict, and then I would lose a bit of weight, and then I would fail at that. So then I would feel like a failure, and then just binge for a few weeks, a few months, and then try again. And yeah, it was just this awful cycle, really. So yeah, it was quite low. I was definitely had no confidence, no self-worth whatsoever. Yeah, so I was in a really tough space mentally, and I was really stressed, which I didn't really realize. And it was kind of only going through the program that I realized how stressed I was.
And when we talked about what your roadblocks were and what was derailing you,
yeah,
when life was getting busy and stress was taking over, and then you just felt like you couldn't handle managing your health alongside managing everything else and all the other demands you had.
And then the coping strategies that I was using to deal with stress, or avoiding it with just mindless scrolling on my phone, probably drinking, sometimes throwing myself into work even more.
And so what do you feel like you've learned over the last 3 months?
Oh my gosh, so much. Probably the biggest thing is how to deal with my stress. And actually even recognizing when I am stressed, because I used to think that, I just was kind of go with the flow. I didn't get stressed, and I just kind of work through it and push through it. And then I realized that actually those avoiding strategies weren't me coping with stress. It was me avoiding it and avoiding dealing with what was causing it. So now I definitely have exercise, I have meditation, I have way better time management. And I think the biggest thing is probably that I have the self-belief that I can actually overcome those things, and just looking at what is the stress, can I avoid that stress, being created in the first place, what needs to happen to really address it.
But your daily routine has come in leaps and bounds.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So talk to me about your daily routine before versus now.
Oh gosh, so I used to get up early and start work, or sit on the couch and have a coffee and watch the news and and scroll through social media. Sometimes I would try and exercise, but then I wouldn't, because I'd worry I'd wake the kids up, or whatever excuse I could kind of give myself. And then I'd do the housework, or tidy up, do the busy work that wasn't really adding to my life. And then now I get up at 5:20. I have meditation, I work out, I even allocate like 10 minutes to read my book, have my coffee, I watch the news, and then I start my day and get the kids ready and carry on. And it just is such a great way to start the day. Yeah, food's been a really big change. So I started with the pantry cleanse, and that was really interesting to do. And I was like, is this something I'm going to do just for the duration, or am I going to keep it there? Because I definitely had to ask myself that question. Yeah, easy swaps, like, things like sugar I don't use normal sugar anymore. I just use coconut sugar if I use it. Different flours and grains and things. I thought it was going to be a crisis to swap out roasted nuts for natural nuts. It hasn't been as big a deal as I thought it would.
Your digestive health, I imagine, has improved massively.
Yeah, massively. And I see big differences because I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I was talking to the doctor about this the other day, that my hormones are so balanced. I don't have crazy PMS like I used to. It's just gone. It's weird.
Yeah, but it just stabilizes from the foods that we eat.
Yeah. And so I don't eat a lot of dairy or gluten. And even things like my hair and skin and nails are all healthier. Like, I can see that difference. Yeah. And so as a family, we're eating better because we're cooking everything at home, and just a really good balanced healthy meal plan. So yeah, it's been really good, and even that's given me back so much time because I do a lot of meal prep on a Sunday, and then generally I'm not back in the kitchen to actually cook until a Thursday.
I've just seen a transformation in your mental space throughout the journey, and particularly week 8 you kind of peaked and then you've been able to hold it there now, which has been great.
Yeah, definitely. That's the biggest shift for me, for sure. I was talking to a friend about this on the weekend, just because we haven't caught up for a while, and she's like, yeah, I can see it. Your whole headspace is different. And I'm like, yeah, I'm confident and just genuinely happy and feel in control of my life. But yeah, I have so much more confidence and that self-belief. Like, I genuinely know that I can achieve what I want to now for my health and my well-being and just, yeah, everything. But it's even improved my work. I was pretty confident in my work anyway, because I've always sort of been, really committed and dedicated to that. But even so, I can still see how shift mentally is just taking that to the next level as well. It's amazing. Yeah, it's so good. Things that would have held me back before just won't anymore. Just particularly, that negative self-talk, and I don't sort of allow myself to go there anymore. And if I feel it creeping in, I'll give myself a bit of a reality check and switch that thinking, amp up my meditation, revisit my affirmations, all of those skills that I've kind of learned along the way are just something that I now, if that happens, I just fall back to.
So what do you think it is about the program that worked for you?
Definitely the mindset. I think it's just everything, really. It's really holistic. And I really like the way that it is that gradual building. So I think what I've always done in the past is I've always gone all in and hard. And then, you fail and then you don't go back to it because you failed.
Burnout,
yeah. And so you just tell yourself you can't achieve it, so you might as well just give up. Whereas this was really gradual, and I just think the way that the program's designed, it tackles things as you need to tackle them. And I think it's really funny how, obviously, you do this program and we're all on different journeys at different times, but it always just seems to fall in the right place.
The content.
And I'm like, gosh, you're like reading my mind. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt like every training was like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about this, and this was just the problem I was having, and then here you come with this content that I'm like, right, okay, that makes sense.
That's good. Yeah. And that's what you've done. You totally immersed yourself in the content and you have just soaked it up and honestly done so well.
Yeah,
like, you're not the same person.
Definitely not.
Like that person that I spoke to on that call versus now.
Yeah, definitely. I am such a different person, and I wouldn't have thought that 12 weeks would make that much difference. I definitely came in hoping that it would make a difference, wanting it to, but I was scared. I think that it wouldn't. Would this be just another thing that I'd signed up to do that I wouldn't succeed at? And I really can feel a massive difference, and I think everybody in my life can see that there's been a difference as well. So I'm really grateful, because I think that it's given me back my life, and the impact that it will have for me for the rest of my life and for my children. That's massive achievement for 12 weeks. And I could not have done it without you and your support, and everyone in the group as well.
Thanks, Kylee.
Yeah.
Thanks, we have to see you in this space.
Yeah.
So nice.
Gosh, what an awesome journey.
So what advice would you give to any other women who are thinking or on the fence about joining?
I would say do it as fast as you can and just dive right into everything. So really embrace the content and, really engage with the groups and just, use you. Use you while you've got you, because there's so much you can learn and so much growth that can happen in that 12 weeks. But I think you have to be really willing to sometimes be a little bit vulnerable as well, and be honest about how you're feeling and be honest about what's happening with you along the way, so that you can actually address those challenges and overcome them. Because I think that's probably the hardest part is, when you do have, blocks in the road, is acknowledging, this is what happened, and then reflecting on it and then talking it through with you and really looking at what actually was the cause. Because I think coming from that dieting cycle, we automatically take it back to food when that's not really necessarily what it was. But definitely engaging with the content, and then not just listening to it but acting on it. Really using that content to make the shift in your life. That whole belief and self-identity is just massive to shift and unpack. Like, in 12 weeks, the person that I thought I was to the person that I actually am. I also had this idea of what I thought I wanted to be based on who I was prior to my marriage. And then, that was a long time ago now. So that's not actually the person I wanted to be. I wanted to be a newer, stronger version of myself. And yeah, I definitely am. So much more confident, like confidence, self-belief. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's just made every aspect of life so much easier and yeah, much better.